Pakistan's newly elected parliament approved Shehbaz Sharif as Prime Minister on Sunday. This ushers in a second term for the junior Sharif and caps weeks of upheaval following a disputed election victory. He will also be heading a government facing multiple economic and political challenges that are likely to leave the country in turmoil for a number of years to come. Shehbaz Sharif's selection also brings to the forefront the role of the all-powerful military in Pakistan. The generals have long been accused of being seen as the invisible hand guiding Pakistan's politics. This time too, the army was accused of engineering the results of the election. Analysts say that the public confidence in Shehbaz Sharif's government is already low even before it's begun its first day in office. Shehbaz Sharif secured 201 votes in the National Assembly, while his closest rival, Omer Ayub, who is a supporter of the imprisoned former Prime Minister Imran Khan, managed to get 92 votes. Before the voting began, Shehbaz Sharif arrived at the main National Assembly hall, accompanied by his older brother, Nawaz Sharif. Remember, Nawaz Sharif, the senior Sharif, is a free-time former Prime Minister. He has also been elected as a member of the National Assembly. The Sharif brothers sat together in the front row. It was a reminder to everybody who was watching that the elder Sharif, who is far more regarded in Pakistan than his younger brother, who also happens to be a three-term former Prime Minister, remains just as influential today, and he's likely to wield power behind the scenes. The proceedings in the National Assembly began with a loud protest in support of Imran Khan. Several of Khan's supporters sat in front of the Speaker's dais. They started chanting slogans, they were waving pictures of Imran Khan. For a good hour or two, the National Assembly Hall reverberated with slogans in support of Imran Khan, the former cricket star turned politician. Sharif's party, the Pakistan Muslim League-Nawaz, which is named after his elder brother, which he currently leads with his entire family, happens to be the current preferred political party of the military establishment. But here's the catch. The PML-N was not the party that won the most number of seats in the national elections which were held a month ago. That honor went to independent candidates who were aligned with Imran Khan's Tehreek-e-Insaf, the PTI, a party which lost its election symbol just weeks before the polls. Now, despite that upset, which was seemingly a rebuke to the all-powerful military establishment, the PML-N was still able to cobble together a coalition with other major parties to lead the new government. Bilawal Bhutto's party, which is the third largest in Pakistan, the Pakistan People's Party, or the PPP, will be providing issue-based support to the ruling coalition. Shehbaz Sharif's government will face lingering doubts over its legitimacy after there were mounting accusations that the military had tampered with the vote count. In many constituencies, the vote count was completely delayed or just stopped for a number of hours before the results turned on its head. In fact, one of the election chiefs in one of the largest provinces resigned from his post, saying that he was forced to tamper with the results. But the longevity of the Sharif coalition government depends on just one thing, and that is support from the current military chief, General Asim Munir. As things stand today, the military leadership and the coalition parties who form the Sharif government have no option. They have to stick with each other, because if even one side falters, then they both stand to lose. So as long as General Asim Munir is the army chief of Pakistan, the Shehbaz Sharif government will survive. That seems to be the prevalent thinking in the corridors of power in Islamabad. The other big challenge, and perhaps even bigger than the political challenge, is the economic one. The country's economy has teetered on the brink of collapse for years now. Inflation reached a record high of double digits last year. Eventually, there was a bailout from the International Monetary Fund, and that is what kept the economy afloat. But that program is set to expire within this month, and the new government will need to secure an additional long-term IMF bailout. Now, that bailout, the details of which have to be worked out possibly before the end of this month, that deal would have to be in the neighborhood of $6 to $8 billion US. Now, If that is the case, if the IMF is going to sign off on such a huge check, then they will most likely require new austerity measures that will be demanded of the new government. And if the new government has to impose austerity measures, that could in turn bring forth more public resentment and more protests. There is also the political challenge, the political opposition, which is in the form of PTI supporters who would want to exploit the public discontent. The party's supporters who've been energized by the recent election success, they may also take to the streets to press the government to release Imran Khan. Imran Khan is currently serving multiple sentences on multiple charges that include leaking official secrets and even taking part in an un-Islamic marriage. Cumulatively, all these sentences add up to more than 30 years in prison. So basically, he's going to be spending the rest of his life in jail unless the army decides to overturn those decisions and decides to pardon Imran Khan. Khan, for his part, of course, has vowed to appeal against these convictions. He says many of these cases, these charges, these convictions are politically motivated. His party has promised to legally challenge all these sentences in higher courts. The new Prime Minister, Shehbaz Sharif, speaking after the vote that happened in Parliament, said that the country faced huge challenges and it also had huge opportunities. He noted that the economy remained the key challenge. He vowed to bring in new investment as well as to create a business-friendly environment. Shehbaz Sharif, whose first term as Prime Minister came in April of 2022. At that time, controversially, members of the National Assembly, the parliamentarians, had voted out Imran Khan in a no-confidence motion that was deeply contested. He's known to be a good administrator, Shehbaz Sharif. He was the Chief Minister of Punjab before this. He's overseen several big infrastructure projects in the largest province in the country, Punjab. Now, in contrast to his brother Nawaz Sharif, Shahbaz has never fallen out with the army. Nawaz Sharif has had multiple fallouts with the army. Shahbaz, on the other hand, has largely been differential towards the army. In his previous term as Prime Minister, the military further entrenched its role in the government. It increased its influence over policy making, most notably in June of last year. Sharif, then Prime Minister, had approved the creation of a government council whose job was to attract foreign investment. It was a move that was widely seen as an effort by the military to have a more direct say in economic policy. Because the feeling in the military was that elected civilian governments were simply not able to get a grip on the economic crisis that was looming in the country. The Army Chief, General Asim Munir, was made a member of that body. That body is called the Special Investment Facilitation Council. Sharif also approved another policy under which the country's intelligence agency, the ISI, was given such widespread powers that it could either approve or deny official appointments and postings. That has amplified the kind of pervasive sway that the military now has over the civilian services of Pakistan. In the wake of the election upset, analysts say that the military's future role is still an open question. But most people agree that a weak civilian government will actually make it easier for the generals to reassert their control. They could possibly wield an even heavier hand politically in the days ahead. Clearly, Shehbaz Sharif in his second term too is going to find a road that is paved with thorns, unless, of course, there can be an economic miracle and also a political miracle.